Okay, what we're going to do here, I trimmed this down just a little bit further back, and we're going to do it one more time up here. I sprayed it a little bit with that alcohol and water. We're going to redefine his ears in a second here. Going to just bring this down a little bit more, because we're going to have to round his whole head off anyway. You'll see that in a second here. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut it down the center. It will give us a better idea. We need to get the top of his head freed up, and then this will come up and around. So all this is going to be chopped off. I know it's a lot of cutting with your knife, but kind of just put a center piece down, a center line down your piece of wood here, and we can go from there. I don't know what I did with my other knife. Hang on just a second. Here it is. Alright. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting this down a little further. And I'm going to start chopping down the center. What we'll do is from one side to the other, just kind of work our way across. And just take little cuts out. You don't have to do really super deep, but just start cutting it out. It's a little tough going across the grain. It would have been easier just to saw it with a bandsaw. You can do that if you want before you start your piece, but because it's at the corner, it's very hard to do that. So we're just going to go back and forth here, and we're going to work our way all the way down. So I'm not going to take the time to do this all here, but just take your solution, spray it down in the center, get it nice and soft, and then go ahead and start cutting it. And you can do a little U shape sometimes works. If you have little gouges, that will work to clean it up in the middle there. Okay, remember the antler, here's the beginning of the antler, and it's going to have a little bit of a U shape up here at the top. Okay, so we don't want to go too much, then maybe up to here on either side. And then we're going to work our way down the middle here, as close to the middle as you can, because you're going to have some antlers sticking out on either side, and that's going to be the tricky part, to try to get that taken care of. Alright, so we'll be right. What I'll do is I'll do some of this offline. Meanwhile, you can continue cutting off the, trimming into the ears here a little bit on either side. We're going to clean this all up back here. This will all come off here as well, and it will shape up. Or just use a cutting motion back and forth like this as you work your way down. Alright, and just keep working at it. You'll get it freed up. And go right up to here. So in other words, you can also go over here a little bit above this and start putting in a big V cut there. Or you can put your line going down to that and start working your way towards the center of your block here on either side, and start scoring it in the front and the back until they meet. It's another way you can do it. This seems a little easier because you're going with the grain and not against the grain, so we'll do the front and the back that way. It's easier if you lean it against a table. That's not going to take us too long to get through there. Same thing here. We're going to try to figure out, we're going to do this here. We're going to mark it like this over here, so we have a general idea how far to go down and not any further. Well, we'll probably go down a little further. And we'll take it right up the center. Same thing. We're going to just keep going on either side and work our way until we have a nice little V cut. And we're going to clean all this up eventually anyway, so it's not going to You know, this is really a rough cut on all of it. You can do things from a block, it just takes a bit longer. So if you don't have a bandsaw, it's okay if you don't have one. There are a lot of projects you can do without a bandsaw, but it's always handier to have one. I think if I had to choose, my most important tool to buy and to save for would be that bandsaw. And if you buy a tabletop bandsaw that can do like a 2 inches to maybe 2 1/4 inches thick, that would be a very neat neat machine to have. Okay. This is a little higher than, notice I cut that a little bit wrong, so some of this is going to come off later on to flatten this up and make it more even, but right now we're just trying to get to the center, a little bit of the center out here. Just keep working your way. Alright, we're almost to the center here. There we go. Alright, you see how we're working our way down? And we're just going to keep doing that. Alright, a lot more is going to come off of there, but we're going to just kind of start rounding it here, right here. We're going to start rounding it right at the top of the head here. Alright. Okay. Again, this is all going to come off a little further, and the neck is going to come up. This is going to come out a little bit more. Alright, it's going to come out a little bit more underneath here, and then this is going to come, because the head comes up and around, and then it comes down like so. Okay, so this all has to come off yet. Alright, so that's what we're going to be working on. And when I come back, we'll have this all taken out of the back all the way across. This is pretty well where it needs to be. And we're going to come up underneath the head a little bit, because this all needs to come back a little further. Okay, we'll be right back.